Hi guys, a warm welcome to all of you once again with Knockout. After a very long time, we are back with cricket shows with the Asia Cup, which is happening right now. We did a lot of shows on schools rugby, so we are back with cricket and no introduction to our guest, Sameer Yoonus, left arm pacer from UAE. Hi
That's
Sameer.
that's a very new introduction. That's not how you used to introduce me a few years ago. But thanks. Good
Harun,
to be back,
I can
Madhan. Good to be back.
I can give a new introduction for Harun also. Harun, schools rugby expert.
Yeah, I think it's been a super season which just ended, and I don't think it could have ended in a better way with Royal winning the rugby, beating the league champs. So it was a very entertaining season. I, of course, obviously like to watch the sport, but in terms of playing and sharing my 2 cents, cricket is the sport for me.
Hope you enjoyed my shows also, Arun, which we had the coaches
Yes,
and
yes, I
rugby
think
players.
good segments were done. Really enjoyed some of the chats with some of the players, and good to see their mindset, their perspectives of the current game that they play. Uh, Maybe you should do that when the cricket season also starts, and just to see what the thinking behind some of the players is, whether they want to go the long way. We know schools cricket is like the foundation for the national setup as well. So to bring out the players in a forum like this would be good for them.
Yes. And අපි දැන් ඒෂියා කප් එකට යන්න කලින් දැන් මේ දවස්වල ගොඩක් කතා කරන දේකින් පටන් ගමු නේද සමීර්? ඉන්දියා පාකිස්තාන ඉන්සිඩන්ට් එක මැච් එකෙන් පස්සේ හෑන්ඩ්ෂේක් එක සමීර් මොනවද හිතන්නේ ගැන?
Hitanda that I think. I mean, look, India did what they did. Okay, and there was a lot of talk about it before the tournament whether India should be really playing in it, given what has happened between the two countries. A lot of people thought that because of what happened in that World Championship of Legends, where India didn't want to play Pakistan, but then there was conversation about okay, will they actually play when it comes to the main team? So I think what we need to remember is in the WCL, that Indian team was a privately owned team. It wasn't under BCCI, and they were not contractually or in any way associated with BCCI or the ICC. So that's a private team. They can choose to do what they want to, and all those players are obviously not contracted with BCCI. They all retired. They are independent and they play for a private team. So that was their option. Now BCCI has moved to actually play in the Asia Cup. Having Pakistan in there, that was completely their choice, and I think that should be the way. You shouldn't let politics get into sports, for sure. I mean, anyone who's a decent sportsman will tell you that. Politics has its place and sports has its place. Although you can solve political crises through sports, but that's a different discussion altogether. Now, what India did in terms of not shaking their hands, the opposition's hands, for me, obviously, most cricketers, most sportsmen will tell you that it shouldn't have been that way. I think if you're there to play, you play it the right way. And I don't want to blame the players because maybe it's a directive right from the top. Maybe it's not even the board. Maybe it's straight from the government. Okay, we don't want to associate with people of that country. But at the end of the day, if you've chosen to come and play in the tournament, if you've chosen to come and play against a team, then you just you carry on with the usual way of playing. But I would have hoped, honestly, putting all those things aside, I really would have hoped there would have been a closer and tighter game. And it's no more that exciting India-Pakistan rivalry anymore. Honestly, it's just like it's been so one-sided lately, and it sucks because there's so much potential for this to be, such a show, such a great advertisement for cricket. But unfortunately, India has gone 10,000 steps ahead, and Pakistan seems to be taking 2 steps forward and 4 steps backwards. So I mean, I can't comment much about the whole political scene, about whether they should have shook hands or not, whether India is right, Pakistan is wrong. Everyone is forced to do certain things with their boards and government's directive. Personally, if you ask me, they should have shaken hands because it's a sport. You leave sport on the field. You don't bring outside political things into the ground. Even the statements the captain made, I don't think that was a place to do it for India's captain. I'm sure if any other team had brought up some other country's political matters into the microphone on a cricket pitch, or a post-match presentation, there would have been repercussions. But as we all know, it is how it is. There's nothing we can do about it. It is how the sport is run.
Yes, and අද පාකිස්තාන් ටීම් එක හොටෙල් එකකින් එන එක පොඩක් ඩිලේ වෙන කතාවකුත් තිබ්බා. දැන් 9 pm ශ්‍රී ලංකන් ටයිම් මැච් එක පටන් ගන්නවා කියලා කියනවා. එතකොට ෂෝ එක බලලා පටන් ගන්න පුළුවන් මේ මැච් එක බලන්න පුළුවන්. හරුන් මොනවා හිතන්නේ මේ ඉන්සිඩන්ට් එක ගැන ඔයගේ thoughts?
මේ මාර සමීර් කියපු විදිහටම තමයි ඉතින් අල්ටිමේට්ලි අපි පොලිටික්ස් සයිඩ් තිබ්බොත් ස්පෝර්ට් එක ඇටිට ගත්තොත් මම පොඩි කාලේ මට ක්‍රිකට් උගන්වපු කෝචස් ලයි මම ෂුවර් එකට හිතනවා සමීර්ට කිය උගන්වපු කට්ටිය මුලින්ම අපිට කියලා දුන්නේ බේසික්ස් වලට අමතරව the spirit of the game and the how do you play the game and how do you play with your opponents. මම හිතන්නේ එදා වෙච්ච දේ ක්‍රිකට් වලට ගත්තොත් ස්පෝර්ට් එකක් හැටියට it's a black mark, massive black mark. plus ගත්තොත් ඉන්දියා රටක් හැටියට බිලියනයකට වැඩි ඉන්න පොපියුලේෂන් එකක්. ඒක පොඩි ළමයි කොච්චරක් මේ මැච් එක බලන්නේ නැද්ද? and then what you are doing is you are creating a precedent. Going forward, not shaking hands will be a norm from what India needs. That's my biggest fear to the sport. අපි ඉස්සර කියන්නේ 3 hardly cheers for the opposition team. හිප්පි පුරේ කියලා තමයි අපි shake hand කරන්නේ. That is what we got on. More than any competitiveness or skill or anything, ultimately sports is played for the purpose of developing a person's character and personality. Become a champion of whatever what you call discipline or skill. But ultimately the true essence of that was completely diminished. I thought it was very immature, the way some of the statements that were made, like Sameer mentioned in the press conference. Ideally a captain should reserve his comments on political affairs, and it's not the platform to give your condolences or whatever. You reserve it to yourself. Sport should be played as a sport, leaving politics aside. Having instructions from the board, then BCCI goes to show that you're just a set of puppets dancing to the tune of a particular master. I thought it was brave of Pakistan to go and try to even say we'll play and shake hands with the opposition team, but overall very disappointed as someone who has learned the basics of the sport and has played the sport to some level, and more so scared for what can happen in the future, because I think they set a very very bad precedent in a wrong trend for future cricketers.
Yes, that's the thought. And PM දැන් අපි ලංකාවේ performance ගැන කතා කරන්නේ, ලංකාවේ හෙට match එක ගැන කතා කරන්නේ. ලංකාව ශ්‍රී ලංකාව දැන් matches දෙක ගත්තොත් matches දෙකේම totally contrasting performance කියලා කියන්නත් පුළුවන් සමීර්. ඒ කියන්නේ බංග්ලාදේශ match ශ්‍රී ලංකාව කරපු විදිහට අපි හිතුවා ඒෂියා කප් අපේ වෙන chances තියෙනවා කියලා. ඊට පස්සේ හොංකොං game එකේ පොඩි collapse එකක් වුණා. ඒ ගැන කතා කරොත් සමීර් මොනවද මේ match දෙක ගැන කතා කරොත්?
First of all, I want to establish this that press conference එකේ tournament එකට කලින් උත් අනිත් එක මේකට කලින් මතක තියාගන්න තිබ්බ tri nation series එකක් between Afghanistan, Pakistan and UAE. හරිද? ඒක අපේ ගෙවල් ළඟ at the Sharjah Stadium. Okay. So ඒකෙත් in the press conferences, one of the reporters asked Afghanistan how you are now the second best team in Asia. It's always about Pakistan and Afghanistan being the second best team in Asia. I'm sorry, but you are insulting Sri Lanka by saying that. By every time you say that. Because we are the second highest winners of the Asia Cup. We currently hold the record for the highest number of wins in an Asia Cup. So when you say that, you're actually putting Sri Lanka on. And every time and again, including the last T20 version of the Asia Cup, Sri Lanka have proven to be one of the best. I'm not saying we are the best team in Asia. The best team in Asia is definitely India. Anyone with a sane mind will tell you that. But I can establish this fact that Sri Lanka is definitely the second best team in Asia. There's no second question about it. Yes, Afghanistan have done pretty well of late. They've risen through the ranks. They've done them putting some really good performances. But honestly, to completely ignore Sri Lanka like that is really insulting. I mean, what, are you not going to take us seriously? We're a World Cup winning team, ODI, T20. We won the Asia Cup more often, second most number of times. So stop saying that Pakistan and Afghanistan are the second best. They are not. And as always, we're going to play party spoilers for the India-Pakistan final that everyone hopes for, because we are the second best team. Now, in terms of the performance, now let me get to your question. In terms of the performance, yes, I think they opened with a banger. Abu Dhabi, the track was suited for bowling first. Shamira got good bounce movement early on, and that's what you get at Abu Dhabi, at the Sheikh Zayed Stadium in Abu Dhabi anyway. There's something in it for the fast bowlers. And I think they exploited those conditions quite well. Both Tushara and Shamira got a superb start. I mean, there was a record, wasn't it? 2 overs for no runs and a couple of wickets as well. So that was fantastic. I think everything we did from ball one was brilliant. Yes, there was a question about fatigue for Sri Lanka because they've been through some travel. They went to Zimbabwe, played back-to-back T20s, then they came, just one rest day, then they had training, then they played Bangladesh. So listen, it's not an excuse, but still, there are chances that this could happen. However, we shouldn't have played the way we played against Hong Kong. I thought there was a bit of complacency there. We maybe took the opposition a little too light. But again, look, change of conditions. Dubai Stadium is not a place where you can just come and immediately get into the game. It does require adjustment. Like I said, if Abu Dhabi offers you bounce and movement, Dubai can be a bit on the slower side. And remember, they've played in different conditions. Pathum Nissanka has batted on flat tracks in Zimbabwe. Then he's come to Abu Dhabi where there's a bit of bounce, and now he's coming and playing in Dubai where it's not coming on so nice. It's a bit slow. So you're playing in 3 different tracks inside a week. Obviously, it takes adjustment. And still, Pathum Nissanka, who's our best batter in the world right now, has managed to score runs in all 3 different conditions. Obviously, given the form and the abilities of the rest of the batters, they will struggle. Even the bowling, I thought, was the same issue. I thought Tushara and Shamira tried too hard to get wickets early on, given that it's a weaker opposition. But you got to give credit to Hong Kong the way they played. They played the ball, they played what was in front of them instead of playing the opposition, which is what some of the other teams have failed in this Asia Cup, especially Oman and UAE. They played the reputation of the opposition instead of playing what was in front of them. And the moment Hong Kong did that, you saw that they really put their hands up. And if it wasn't for some mistakes on their side, like the dropped catches and that no ball, things were looking quite scary for Sri Lanka. I was there at the stadium. I went to watch the match, and when the toss was on, I actually got disappointed. I'm like, oh, you know what? Hong Kong is batting first. The match is going to be over early. But in a way, it's good. It's good they scored 150 because we got to see some good batting from Pathum Nissanka and then that finish from Manindu and Dasun. So, yes, problematic that game was. But I'm glad that we've got that, the ugly part of our game out of the way early in the tournament. Now I'm sure the boys will be very focused and they'll come back strong tomorrow against a very strong Afghanistan side. So, good and bad. Yes, we shouldn't have performed like that, but also our kata game mega ainuna. Then මෙතන ඉඳන් මේ හොඳේව තමයි වෙන්න යන්නේ. I get the feeling. Akil, you're on mute.
I was on mute, sorry. Haroon, group stage එකේම මේ වගේ පොඩි ටෙස්ට් එකක් ආපේ හොඳයි කියලා හිතෙනවා නේ ලංකාවට. ඒතර going forward ඒ ටික හරි ගස්සලා ටූර්නමන්ට් එක ඉස්සරහට යන්න පුළුවන්.
ඒකතකින් හොඳයි අර සමීර් කිව්වා වගේ මම හිතන විදිහට පොඩ්ඩක් ලේසියෙන් ගත්තා හොංකොං ටීම් එක කම්ප්ලේසන්සි එක අනිවාර්යෙන් සෙට් වුණා. අපි විකට්ස් ගන්න ගියා. අපි රන්ස් කර්ටන් කරන්න ගියේ නෑ. ඒ හින්දා ලූස් බෝල්ස් ගොඩක් දැම්මා. මම හිතන විදිහට 150ක් ලීක් කරපු එක වැඩි ඒ විකට් එකේ and සමීර් කිව්වා වගේ ඩුබායි පිච් එක අබු ධාබි පිච් එක අතර ලොකු වෙනසක් තිබ්බා. පොඩ්ඩක් 2 pace තමයි ඩුබායි පිච් එක සෙටල්මන්ට් දේසිනේ. and ඒගොල්ලොමුත් බෝල් කරනකොට හරිම ස්මාර්ට් විදියට තමයි බෝල් කරේ. හැම කියන්නේ ස්ලෝ බෝල්ස් දැම්මා, ස්ලෝ බවුන්සර්ස් දැම්මා. කියන්නේ අපේ බැට්ස්මන්ලට සෙටල් වෙන්නත් වැඩි කාලයක් වුණෙත් නැහැ. අපේ තියෙන ලොකුම එක්ස්පෝෂර් එක තමයි දැනට තියෙන්නේ මිඩල් ඕඩර් බැටිං. 101 for 1, 120 for 5 within no time. එතන තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නේ තමයි අර ගේම් එකට එන කාලයයි ඇඩ්ජස්ට් වෙන විදිය එක්ස්පීරියන්ස් කියන්නත් බෑ. අර ඒ වෙලාවට ප්‍රෙෂර් එක හැන්ඩල් කරන විදිහේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් තමයි මම හිතන්නේ තියෙන ලොකුම අඩුපාඩුව. කමින්දු මෙන්ඩිස් වගේ ප්ලේ කෙනෙක් අර ගහපු ෂොට් එකේ වැරද්දකුත් නැහැ. හැබැයි අර ඒ ෂොට් එක ටයිම් කරගන්න බැරි වුණා. but අර මොමන්ට් ප්‍රෙෂර් එක එන්න පටන් ගන්නකොට අපිට ඒක කන්වර්ට් කරගන්න බෑ රන්ස් වලට. so what you have to see is Pathum නැතුව can this team actually go all the way? If Pathum has a bad day, what's going to happen to the team කියන එක තමයි ඇත්තටම බලන්න වෙන්නේ.
Haroon, you must be very proud as a Royal ඉස්නේ ගොඩක් කට්ටිය ඉන්නවා දැන් Royal team එකේ Royal ශ්‍රී ලංකාව කාමිල් මිෂාර මොනවද හිතන්නේ කාමිල් මිෂාර ගැන?
Kamil, I think really impressive performance. He was a bit slow. I think he also took time to adjust to that wicket. But එයාගේ අර අබු ධාබි knock එක නම් ඇත්තටම solid knock එකක්. and එයාගේ potential එක කියන්නේ ඉස්කෝලේ ගහන කාලේ නම් මම දැනගෙන හිටියා. හැබැයි මේ වගේ hitting capability එකක් මම දැකලා තිබ්බේ නැහැ. fast bowlers වල කෙඩින් ගහන එකයි on off the square he was very strong. and he's well all round player කෙනෙක් හැටියට I think he'll be a very good fit to this team because mind you he can wicket keep, he can bowl off spin, and I think he had to brush up his fielding එදා මිස්ෆීල්ඩ් දෙක තුනක් වගේ ගියා. but he is that තිලකරත්න දිල්ෂාන් වගේ utility player කෙනෙක් තමයි කමිල් මිෂාර කියන්නේ.
Yes.
No,
Samir,
I actually had. I remember doing a few games of his in the domestic scene over there. He actually. I mean, he was always earmarked as one with potential, and they always looked at him as someone who can actually go on and do great things. What I really like about him is, unlike others who debut for Sri Lanka, you see that bit of there's a bit of fear in the way they play. They're nervous. They're not really going through their shots. But that's not there in Kamil Mishra. Yes, early on, the first few balls you'll find him to be a bit tentative, feet not moving, poking at the ball every once in a while. But once he's set, he's not afraid to play his shots. He does, actually go on and play his shots. And that's a rare thing to have from a Sri Lankan batter. We've seen that, unlike India's seasoned IPL players who come to the team and straight away start performing, our guys take a bit of adjustment to the pace of international cricket. And you can't even blame them because they haven't got the kind of exposure that some of those IPL players have. Ape monkey ho gaya, ape Kodak premier players that lights under gahalane other venaka. Whereas an IPL Ranji Trophy player would have played like more matches than our Premier Division players under lights. So the exposure is different, but Kamil Mishra has taken on that challenge and he's not afraid to express himself. And I think that's what you want to see from all the youngsters coming through. Janit Lienage, another example, hasn't taken time to settle in. From the moment he's come in, he's played, he's backed his strengths and he's gone on and do that. I think you don't mind if they fail doing that every once in a while. You don't mind it because you know that he's playing to his strength. The problem is when you play, when you're pushy, when you're scared, when you show that in your batting, that's when it pisses you off. Like, you're there at the top stage, you deserve to be there. Now go on and show your skills. But if you get out trying to be careful, then you won't last long. So Kamil Mishra has at least got that right, and I'm really glad that he's done that for himself.
අපෙන් අවස්ථාවෙන් උපරිම ප්‍රයෝජන ගන්න ඕනේ. Make use of chance. Yes sir.
නෑ අනිවාර්යෙන් මම ඒ අර යාට හම්බෙච්ච opportunity එක මම හිතන්නේ අද Zimbabwe knock එකේ ඉඳන් මේ වෙනකන් අන්තිම ගහලා තියෙන innings තුනේම he has contributed to a winning cause. ඒක තමයි යා කරන්න ඕනේ. අර number 3 slot එක කියන්නේ very important position එකක්. අර mainly කොහමද 6th over ඉඳන් 10th over වෙනකන් match එක අදින විදිය. because දැන් T20 එකත් overs 20ක් වුණාට ඒකත් දැන් faces වලට කඩාගෙන තමයි bat කරන්නේ. On the teams ගත්තොත් first 6 එකේ they look at 50 to 60 runs, ඊට පස්සේ 7 to 10th over එක plan කරනවා, 11th to 16th and last 4 එකේ තමයි acceleration එක කරන්නේ. ඒ role එක from 6 to 14 I think he has a very crucial role to play.
අපිට fan question එකක් තියෙනවා චරිත් අසලංකගේ form එක ගැන. චරිත් අසලංකගේ form එක ඇත්තටම ශ්‍රී ලංකා team එකට concern එකක්ද? worry එකක්ද කියලා අහනවා. Both the experts can answer. Sameer?
No, it is a worry. We've relied on him quite a bit in the shorter format to see us through. But I'm not too concerned because he's the kind of player who'll come good anytime. And he's a big match player. He's not someone who just throws it away. He's taken us out of trouble many times and won us some good, won us some good matches. You see, I think his issue is because the top order is now making runs. For example, Pathum is providing those starts. He always comes in a situation where there's probably a few runs left to go, or he comes in as a finisher. And again, Charit is that kind of batter who can't hit you from ball number 1. He needs at least 5 or 6 balls to settle in. When he has that time, I'm telling you, you'll see him play a much more free-flowing innings. You'll find that form. But if you expect Charit to come in the last 2 overs and go off, tee off, he will struggle. And that's something maybe he'll have to work on. If he needs to come so late down the order, he comes at number 4, right? Or 3 down. So that maybe he can promote himself to give him a bit more time to be out there. And then, try and see if he can find his form that way. But I'm honestly not too concerned about his form. What I am concerned about is Kusal Mendes' form. And your opener needs to be up there. He hasn't really converted his starts in the last few games. And that's something concerning for me.
Yes, and Haroon, your thoughts? Left-handers are දෙන්නේ 4 5 ඉන්න එක
ඒක තමයි මගේ මම කුසල් එක සෙල්ලම් කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒක කුසල් පෙරේර මම කතා කරන්නේ. අර චරිත අසලංක සමීර් කිව්වා වගේ එයාට පොඩ්ඩක් ටයිම් ඕනේ සෙටල් වෙන්න. එයාට අර අන්තිම ඕවර්ස් 7ට ඇවිල්ලා එකපාරට ගහන ප්ලේ කෙනෙක් නෙමෙයි. and obviously play කෙනෙක් වුණාම you go through rough patches නේ. ඉතින් එයා ඒ වගේ patch එකක් තමයි දැන් experience කරන්නේ. but mind you he has the best cricket brain in our team. එයායි Kamil Mendes කියන්නේ හොඳ cricket brain තියෙන දෙන්නෙක්. ඒකනොත් ගේම් එක ක්‍රියේට් කරන්න දන්නවා, ෆීල්ඩ් සෙටින් මාරු කරන්න දන්නවා, බෝලිංగ్ චේන්ජස් කරන්න දන්නවා. ඉතින් මම නම් ඇත්තටම ලොකුවට worry වෙන්නේ yes he'll have to get into form but every player will go through this phase. So maybe one thing that they can do is probably push him up the order, but then where do you play Kusal? Because Kusal is not very effective the more lower he bats. Kusal is someone around bowling, faster ball again. Yeah, someone runs ගන්න spin එකට ගොඩක් weak. එදාත් අපි දැක්ක spin එකට opening දීතින්. එයාත් not in the greatest of touches, but going into the Afghanistan game, මම හිතන්නේ ලොකු වෙනස්කම් කරයි කියලා. Saying that it's because he's also a big match player. එයාට set නොත් එයාට මේක වෙනස් කරන්න පුළුවන් චරිතයක් තමයි කුසල් පෙරේරාත් කියන්නේ. හැබැයි චරිත සලංකගේ ෆෝම් එක ගැන මම නම් වැඩි ලොකුට කන්සර්න් වෙන්නේ නැහැ because as a captain I think he's far more valuable than what others can be.
Exactly. And Adil Usman අපේ යාළුවෙක් ප්‍රශ්නයක් අහලා තිනවා සමීර්. Your takes on baby Malinga.
Adil bro, how are you? Nice to hear from you. I've made myself very clear. I actually tweeted about this and I even posted that on my Facebook. I think he needs time. I'm not a fan of having two slingers in your 11. Then that's not variety then, I'm sorry. That's just, getting the opposition used to that angle. Tushara provides a lot more control. Patirana, listen, great kid, hard worker, lots of potential, but I still feel he's a little too young and needs to work on his control. In a T20, you cannot be affording to go at 30-40 runs every game. Yeah, he'll get you that wicket, but that's a whole debate, isn't it? The kind of bowlers who go for runs but gets you wickets. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that, to be honest. Yes, what he does might work on flat wickets in the IPL because there you anyway go for runs. That's a given. That's a default there. So if he can break those partnerships for you, it works. But in high-profile games where conditions can vary, every run, every extra that he leaks can be, dangerous to your team. So until he can actually get that control back and work harder in the nets, I think we should stick to Tushara, who's, by the way, in good form. He's now, I think, in the top 10 of the bowling rankings as well in the T20 format. So for me, Tushara over Patirana for now. And it's good to have that. And that it's a good problem to have. That, okay, if one of your slingers is not in good form, you can always bank on the other. So for now, I'll give the kid some time. Let him find his control. I don't mind him being in the squad because he then gets to travel with the team, learn with them, bowl in the nets, get used to being around high-profile tournaments. But for now, for me, it's Tushara over Patirana, for sure.
Yes, I think he has started playing red ball cricket also now in domestic and for NCC. So it will make him better. I think this is exactly what Haroon said. One thing we should never forget, Charita saved us a lot of times when we are going to get out for less than 150. So let's support him and hope for his comeback. Yes, exactly. අපි කතා කරමු දැන් හෙට මැච් එක ගැන. හෙට මැච් එක ගැන කතා කරන්න first what are the changes you අපි දුලිත් එල්ලාල ගැන ගොඩක් කතා වෙනවා. දුලිත් එල්ලාලගේ ඔය දාන්න ඕනේ ටීම් එකට. I'll start with Haroon.
මම හිතන විදියට it will be a good bet. I'll tell you why. එකක් තමයි දැන් ඔයා එනවා නම් ඉන්න වෙන්නේ දසුන් ශානක වෙනුවටනේ. මම හිතන්නේ එතන වෙන කාවත් රිප්ලේස් කරලා යට උතන මේ ප්ලේස් එක ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි කියලා. And දසුන් ශානක relatively weak against spin. දැන් උතන රෂිද් ખાන් ඉන්නවා and බුග්ලි එකම හරියට කියවන්නේ. So I looking at how he batted yesterday also I have my doubts. And whether if you take the 4 overs with Dunit versus Dasun, I will take Dunit's 4 overs considering they are playing in Dubai or Abu Dhabi. I'm not too sure.
Abu Dhabi. So I think we went with 2 spinners there as well. So that is something. Or we have the option of dropping Mahesh Deekshan and playing Velalage. So you get that extra batting option. So it can be the latter also, but I prefer having that extra left arm spinner in the team. And he's an excellent fielder, of course.
Sameer, your thoughts?
I think it'll be the latter, Haroon. They won't drop Dasun Shanaka because I'll tell you why. At the absolute business end, we don't. I mean, I know he has his problems against leg spin and wrist spin in general, and they've got not one but 2. They've got Noor Ahmed also, so they will definitely trouble Dasun Shanaka. But the kind of hitting he can do when needed. I mean, whether it come off or not is a different story. But they'll bank on him to let us have that finish. And I think if at all they might drop Mahesh to bring back Dunit Velarage because yes, Mahesh bowled with control, but there were a few wides there and he's not picked up the wickets like he used to earlier. So maybe they might bring in Dunit for that left arm spin. Also remember, they don't have too many left hand batters, Afghanistan. So that will also work, that left arm spin in those middle overs of Dunit Velarage. And also, obviously, like you said, he provides that batting option also in case things go haywire. They can at least hold one end while the batters bat around him in that late order. So I get the feeling Mahesh might have to see this one out, and Dunit will come in. And I don't mind that change really, because sometimes you really need to slow it down. But my biggest concern there is, I think, because we are packed with left-handers in that middle order, we've got Rashid Khan, we've got Noor Ahmad, we've got that Allah Ghasanfar guy. All these spinners, they're going to run riot over us, man. I mean, I hope our guys are able to manage. That's 12 overs of proper spin to deal with.
Nabi as well, right?
Nabi as well. And Nabi generally picks up wickets against us,
That's
and that's also
16
turning
overs.
away from the left-hander. So it's a lot to deal with. That 16 overs of spin. I don't know if they'll go for all 16 overs of spin. And then we've shown weaknesses against Fazal Haq Farooqi, the left-arm seamer who swings it both ways, unlike me who swings it only one way. So there is, honestly, Afghanistan's bowling is quite strong. So we'll have to really, really bat well and bat them. If we are bowling first, then we have to restrict them to a really low total. And if we bat first, then we have to bat them out of the game.
left handers la godak ඉන්න නිසා ජනිත් ලියනගේ වගේ කෙනෙක්ට chance එකක් එන්න chances තියනවාද නැත්තම්
මේ වගේ crunch game එකකට මම හිතන්නේ අකිල් එයා කියන්නේ එයාත් play කෙනෙක් පොඩක් time අවශ්‍යයි settle වෙන්න 50 overs වල ideal batsman කෙනෙක් ගන්න ලියනගේ කියන්නේ හැබැයි මේ වගේ crunch game එකකට මේ ඉන්න spin එක attack එක ගත්තම ඔය ඉන්න තියෙන combination එක හොඳයි හැබැයි අර middle order has not been firing is been the problem. උදන ගත්තොත් චරිත අසලංග කමිල මෙන්ඩිස් කුසල් පෙරේරා anytime they can win you a match, but the fact that they have not been in great touch has been the question. So yeah, hopefully at least one of the three would put their hands up and make some very valuable runs tomorrow.
I remember Patham made the highest Sri Lankan score against the same opposition, 210. So let's hope he can repeat something like that in the T20 format as well. Maybe get a nice century against these guys.
Get his first T20 century, T20 international century tomorrow. Maybe Patu more kusal දෙන්නගෙන එක්කෙනෙක් ඒ chance එක හම්බ වෙයි කියලා බලාපොරොත්තු වෙමු. අපි ඇෆ්ගන් පැත්තේ කතා කරොත් ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ batting order එක strong කියලා කියන්න පුළුවන් නේ සමීර්. Gurbaz
strong but not so much in form. They've been relying heavily on Gurbaz getting them starts. Nabi has not been in form. Although he likes batting against us, we have the reputation of getting batsmen out of form into form, no?
Yes,
and then you have exactly. That's what we do when Indian batters are out of form. They come to Sri Lanka for a tour. So there's four guys there that will trouble us. Gurbaz will trouble us. Mohammad Nabi will trouble us. Omar Zai and Rashid Khan. These four, if you can keep at bay and get them out early, then I think we can really do well. If you let at least two of these let free, then we are in for some trouble.
තව රටකුත් අපිට ඒකට full support එකක් දෙයි. අපි
Bangladesh, for once they're going to support Sri Lanka.
අපිට නයා පෙන්නලා support කරයි දන්නෙත් නෑ.
ground එකට support කරයි දන්නේ නෑ. ඒ වුණාට මම හිතන විදිහට ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ full support එකක් දෙයි හෙට match එකට. මොනවද අපි ෂෝ එක ඉවරන කලින් සමීර් මොනවා හිතන්නේ හෙට මැච් එකේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා man of the match කවුද වෙන්නේ කියලා හිතන්නේ මේ ප්‍රෙඩික්ෂන් එකක් දෙන්න.
Oh, you're asking a tough question. Player of the match tomorrow. I'm going to go with Dushmanta Chamira. Because that track in Abu Dhabi has bounce and he likes bowling there. And Afghanistan batters can get troubled with some serious pace and bounce. So if he can bowl with good intensity, which he has been in the recent past, he's really found some rhythm and form. If he actually finds that, and I feel he's going to be a key man with ball in hand. So maybe him, yeah. I'm a bowler. I'm always going to choose a bowling player of the match.
Full fit, again full fit, not injured. Chamira කෙනෙක් බලන්න තාසයි නිසා මේ ගොඩාක් ආවට පස්සේ
100%. He looks so good, man, when he's in full form, when he's in full rhythm. Such a joy to watch, like from the run up to the delivery stride, and he's landing in brilliant areas. Even this death bowling has been brilliant. Those wide Yorkers, he's absolutely nailing them. So we can only hope and pray that he remains injury free for long time.
Yes, and for the benefit of viewers, Sameer ඔයගොල්ලන් follow කරන්න නැත්නම් Instagram එකේ බලන්න සමීර follow කරන්න සමීර්ගේ හොඳ සමීර්ගෙත් හොඳ in swingers celebrations ඒ ඔක්කොම මේ දවස්වල යනවා.
C division cricket වල හොඳයි අපේ මේ මෙතන මං කරන bowling. batsman ලා අර නාකි batters ලා bat කරන්නේ. ඒක හින්දා ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ wicket ගන්න පුළුවන්.
Haroon, your prediction, අපි prediction ගැන කතා කරද්දී Haroon, rugby season එකේ අපි prediction කරා. මට මතකද දන්නේ මිනිස්සුගේ බැනුම ආව විතරයි, especially from the Royal supporters.
මටත් හිනා ගියා ඔය prediction වලට. predict කරපු ඒවට හාත්පසින්ම වෙනත් result තමයි ආවේ.
Haroon, your prediction, the man of the match for tomorrow.
No. Yeah, looking at both teams, I'm pretty confident that Sri Lanka can pull it through. Man of the match, I have two options. It will be either Pathum or Wanindu is what I feel. Hasaranga is also, he seems to be coming into the groove. He's bowling well.
Yeah.
Although he got hit a bit yesterday, I thought he bowled in good lines and lengths. He seems to have lost a bit of weight as well, which is good.
Yeah, he's looked much. In fact, he was fielding at long off where we were sitting in Dubai Stadium. He looks so much leaner and fitter now, man. Seriously, I was glad to see that.
Yeah. So I think he also has taken it pretty seriously, because at one point I thought he was bigger than the game and seems to have come back down to earth. So yeah, those will be my two picks. It will be either Pathum or Wanindu.
And at least thanks for that particular no ball. Good to find this. If I found this rhythm in the bat also. But score kara ball attacking විස්සක් විතර ගියා මෙතන ඉතින් මේ match එක. So yeah, batting game contribution again ගොඩක් කල් ලංකාවට. So good. Yeah, score කරපේක පොඩ්ඩක් හොඳයි. And UAE won the toss and bowled first. So I think toss එක දාලා තියෙනවා.
I'm not surprised. UAE likes to chase. They always like to chase. I'm not surprised at all. And I just get the gut feeling they're going to do something special today. My second home, and trust me, they ran them close in that tri-series. They almost won a game against Afghanistan, and they ran them really close against Pakistan. I just got this funny feeling that we might see a UAE-India match on Sunday and not a UAE-Pakistan match on Sunday.
Under prediction එක Haroon මේ reels වලට කපලා තියාගමු. Thank you guys. Thanks for your time once again. After a long time, we had a show. I think after 3 to 4 years.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Sri Lanka T20 series එකක් දිනකට පස්සේ අපි talk show එකක් තිබ්බා. I think after that taken 2021. So after a long time. So thank you guys. Thanks Haroon. Thanks Sameer.
You're welcome.
Thanks for joining the show today.
Pleasure.
ඔයාලම අතාරින්නේ නැහැ ඒෂියා කප් එක ඉවරනකම් ඔයාලට වල දෙනවා මම. So we catch you again with another show. Thanks for your time once again. Thanks Haroon. Thanks Sameer.
Yeah. Thanks for having us. Thanks Akil.
Bye.
Thanks guys. Bye. And thank you very much for everyone for joining Sports Talk with Knockout today. We did the preview for the game between Sri Lanka and Afghanistan. Thank you very much for the Sports Breakdown for sponsoring our show. We'll catch you again with another show and enjoy a great game of cricket tonight as well between UAE and Pakistan. After all the drama, the game is all set to begin at 9 a.m. as predicted by Sameer. Something special might happen today. We'll see what happens. And thank you very much, guys, for joining my show.